Day and good afternoon, everyone. The public hearing conducted by the Committee on Land, Environment, Housing, Agriculture, Parks, and Infrastructure is called to order, and the time now is 2:00 p.m. Today's date is Wednesday, October 15, 2025. Notice of this hearing was disseminated to all local media outlets on October 8, 2025, with the second notice provided on October 13, 2025. Notice of the hearing was also made known on the Guam Legislature's website and the Government of Guam Public Notices portal. This afternoon, the committee will hear testimony on the following bills. Bill number 131-38 COR, an act to authorize the Chamorro Land Trust to sell a portion of lot number 5174-REM-1, Municipality of TAMUNING, consisting of an area of 1,485 plus or minus square feet, and to deposit the proceeds of the sale into the Chamorro Land Trust Infrastructure and Survey Fund. Introduced by myself, V. Anthony Adam. Bill number 170-38 COR, introduced by Speaker Frank F. Blas Jr., an act to add a new subsection 849.18 to Chapter 8, Title 1, Guam Code Annotated, relative to designating Route 6 as the World War II Survivors Memorial Highway. And finally, on the last on the agenda is Bill number 173-38 COR, an act to authorize renewal of the lease of a portion of lot number 2288-1-1-1, MANGILAO, and the MANGILAO KOBAN to the Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 668, by amending subsection 681103 of Chapter 10, Title 21, Guam Code Annotated, introduced by Senator Therese Terlaje and Sabrina Salas Matanane. I'd like to welcome my colleagues for joining me today. On my right is Speaker Frank F. Blas, Senator Therese Terlaje, and Senator Sean Gumatata. Thank you, colleagues, for being here today with us. I'll go ahead and we'll go with the first item on the agenda, which is Bill number 131-38. And we do have on Zoom is Mr. Kelly, who will be testifying on this piece of legislation. Bill number 1-31 COR is a bill that authorizes the sale of the fractional Chamorro Land Trust lot to the adjoining homeowner. This lot runs along the backyard of a homeowner's lot and consists of 138 square meters, which is less than 15% of the standard lot size for single-family homes on Guam. When the landowners renovated their home, they needed to secure a building permit. These renovations were substantial enough that a new occupancy permit was needed to live in the home after the renovations were complete. As part of the conditions for occupancy, DPW inspectors required the homeowners to replace a dilapidated fence along the cliff line. The fence constructed over the area where the old fence stood was built on the subject lot referenced in this bill. On January 17, 2019, the CLTC adopted a resolution recommending that the lot be sold to homeowners. The resolution was subsequently transmitted to then Speaker Tina Rose Muñoz Barnes, asked for approval of the land sale. All sales of CLTC land is required legislative approval. This lot has no practical value to CLTC as it's too small to erect any building. It's on the cliff side and there's no access to it from the family's home. It cannot be used for utility roads or any other governmental purpose. Proceeds of the sale will be deposited to the Chamorro Land Trust Infrastructure and Survey Fund. Additional, the value of the property will increase and more property tax revenue will be generated. I got here today to testify on this legislation, like is the Chamorro Land Trust Commissioner, Mr. Joseph Cameron. Mr. Cameron, for being here this afternoon. And we'll go ahead and start with your testimony, then followed by Mr. Kelly's testimony. You're recognized. Please state your name for the record. And
Senior Menhalumno Guahusi Joseph Flores, Artero Cameron, Gaigizugi Commission, put ipritehe ni Tano Guam. I manamoro siya. Disti tiempo, anay primer biyay ina esti na proposed legislation. Diyan ginunlii Guaha na mafitma ginin si Pika Feheran, the chairwoman, pues ta alu si Jack Hattick, the administrative director. Za ekwa ko gaigi za August na papit. Do you all have this? That predates back to 2019.
No, we don't have that. Not
You
that
don't?
one.
Can you please make this available to the vice speaker?
Is that the current one? Is that the previous one?
This is Chamorro Land Trust Resolution number 2019-05.
Okay.
Can you give
Okay,
this to him,
yes,
please?
sir. They have it. They have it.
You don't?
They don't. They're going to bring it up.
Okay, este gua?
Yeah,
No, gua. No, Senator. No. Dispensa, senyor.
no. That's okay.
Sa gos importante si jangin pata fanquentus put hafata manu disti effectus tempun guantis na tima attendisti. Gof anu kesti na papit na mege hinasuho na lomya. This resolution was done back in 2019 of March 7. 6 days after my birthday. How about that? Well, this is a good birthday gift. So we go from 2019, then we move to, forgive me for moving around, then we go to the Chamorro Land Trust Commission's regular board meeting that was dated May 22, 2025. I think you all have this. Si Dios Masi. Zaginin esti mismo na papit estem anugi pagina 2 on page 2, Old Business Resolution 2019-5 Declaration of Support for the Sale of Portions of Lot 5174 REM1 to Nicole Camacho Reyes Kelly. Mr. Kelly shared with the board that for the last 7 or 8 years, they have been working on a lot line adjustment on the property. The Kellys already have a resolution from Chamorro Land Trust Commission Resolution 2019-5 to sell a fractional lot of alleviate some issues that the Kellys have. A bill has currently been drafted by Vice Speaker Tony Ada, Bill number 131-38. The Kellys are present today to ask for continued support with this specific resolution, and Commissioner J. Cameron motion to support the legislative intent of the bill, and Commissioner Rojas second the motion for the support, and the chair asks all in favor say aye, all said aye, and the chair said motion carries. So that's on May 22 board minutes. Then we move on to June 24 of this year, 2025, and we all have this, and I signed it, and our wonderful chairwoman, Arlene Bodazu, Paris Bodazu, signed it as well as the chairwoman. And it states specifically, Dear Vice Speaker Ada, on June 17, 2025, the Chamorro Land Trust Commissioners Board of Commissioners discussed Bill 131-38, Committee on Rules. The commissioners motioned and unanimously supported or voted to support Bill 131-38, with an amendment appointing me as the board's representative, Joseph Flores Artero Cameron, Commissioner and Board Appointed Rep, as the Public Information Officer, concurred by the Chairwoman of the Commission, Arlene Paris Bordazo. Umatuzo pagut pabi testigo na taza matsalapun gesti na sinangan, hafa ginin itempo ni umalum estigi idea ginin manmamaisin esti los brohimus timege finaisinia sa tipatana I debatti taza gini debatti kalam pumarehos ti zani problema edzi I gizahagat no ni gima posta na mes ni gagi publiko man testigo pud esti edzazo fafana ilihing I guaha mafananan edzo the cliff line After kifin tomorrow, cliff line, kantiet, gipunta ni kantiet. Guahu mismo li este. Sa tizaw na pabio sangan na pabio preba, pat munga ma preba, como batset na to, mas batset to ke batset. It's a mas batsit timalago maliit. So I didn't want to blindly make any recommendations. I wanted to see it. And I did. I looked at the area, 2 to 3 feet, and you're down in the ocean. That's all there is to it. Lo kumakantunay igubit namin tuwi. Ang bigitempon guantes, ekwatay manuas di siya man mapati siya patida, no tanu gikantuntasi lo esti sa kantit. Kumadididia da malabon pang barbecue, podung matayo. Matayo, tazalin na alam. Esti los brohimus hakas at man maisin. Lo kalan tazanu tay patas eh. Zangin tay patas lo gay minaputo no mamukat. Pues taza patas niya lo si Jesus Marcia na humataw pago. Di po na gay patas. Zan ambri maniluhu. I really do hope that we put to rest this long issue and allow this to happen. We're not offering land free. We're not. And if we wanted to parcel this out for the beneficiaries of the commission, it's not going to be worth a hill of beans. It's worthless to them. We can't even put an acre or a half acre. It's so minimal. So the commission, in its wisdom, deliberated once more from 2019 to today, and they concurrently have a high expectation of passage for this particular bill, and we really look forward to this passage. And hopefully, after this public hearing, it would allow you to do your committee reports and send it out to all the other senators, and hopefully that you can put it on second reading and then to first reading for voting file in your next session, if it's possible. I don't know how quick that would be. Lo estinay besangonyo. Zagi man matu itauto, iman halum na tautau si man lala gini ni tautau tano. Zagwaha finaisin niya. Ti in patsutsu ihaw, hagu patsutsu isiya zangwa. In naihaw puesto. In patpaisin hao na po nai tati itauto ifinaisin niha. Ti necessario na una man mamaisin. Lo simple claro gitodo si famalo na jangin guaha pareho na defecto gitano niya. Hamzo gumalului ni prompatina silay. Tada i gobyerno pat itenti gobyerno sinatsogwe. Man mapatus di siya los brohimus, pero mas biyong penyo, hapasina un nai ni para un fan tranquilo itauto ni hafa finaisin niya. Ti debat di celo. Jesus Marcy.
Jesus Marcy, Cameron, we'll go ahead and have Mr. Kelly, I believe he's on Zoom right now, to provide his testimony. Good afternoon, Mr. Kelly. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Kelly, for joining us on the public hearing. We'll go ahead and, if you can go ahead and start your testimony, then we'll have the panel here ask any questions when we're done with the testimony.
Just Mr. Chairman, we are Nicole and Stuart Kelly. We reside in Father Dwayne's Drive, TAMUNING, and are the property owners impacted by this proposed legislation. I would like to thank yourself, Mr. Chairman, and the committee for taking the time to hear Bill number 131-38. By way of background, this request for a lot line adjustment for the landlocked piece of property that was created by the adoption of the standard block system on Guam. The adjustment we are seeking is already contemplated in Chapter 75, subsection 75105C of the Guam Code Annotated, and it's covered by yourself and Commissioner Cameron. We've been seeking this lot line adjustment for the last 7 or 8 years. We've had a couple of resolutions in support of this action from CLTC commissioners. As previously stated, on March 7, 2019, the first resolution in support of this action was 2019-05. And more recently, the continued support was from the CLT commissioners was CLTC Resolution 2019-06. SQ.FT-05. We are seeking the lot line adjustment because of the situation that arose during the renovation of our home in 2016. After the renovation and prior to the issuance of an occupancy permit, DPW required the construction of a safety railing along the edge of the cliff line behind our home where a dilapidated old fence once stood. They wanted this safety fence to prevent accidental falls as the cliff rises to about 100 feet high at that particular area. Part of the safety railing is built on CLTC property, and the remainder is on our existing property. When the railing was built, we didn't really realize the part that was on the CLTC land because we were actually replacing an existing dilapidated fence, so following the existing footprint. And what we're really looking to do here is to come into compliance so that we can pass the property down to our children without any issues or encumbrances. So that given the land has no practical use, we are asking the committee's support to purchase this inaccessible piece of land. Sijus Masi.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly, for your testimony. I'm going to go ahead and open up the panel to questions or comments from my colleagues. I'll go ahead and start up with Senator Terlaje.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just wanted to confirm with the Kellys, the occupancy permit has already been given for your house, correct?
That's correct, Senator. Yes.
So there's nothing preventing an occupancy permit today. The safety railing that you want to build, you want to follow the old safety railing that currently goes on CLTC property. Is there any reason you can't build the safety railing on your property?
Safety railing has already been constructed, Senator. So we're looking to come into compliance by acquiring the fractional lot.
So you've already built the railing on the CLTC property?
Yes, effectively we're encroaching.
Well, we got approval from the CLTC to do that. That was done in 2019.
I saw the minutes of the 2019 meeting where they said they were going to table it. They were approving it, but they were tabling it pending an appraisal. Was an appraisal ever done?
The appraisal, the action for the appraisal would follow approval of the legislation, this particular bill. So the idea is, Senator, if this legislation does get approved, then prior to acquiring it, there would be an appraisal done. And that's recorded also in the most recent CLTC minutes.
Yeah, so that's required by the bill, but it's also required in our statute. Before we consider any of these land bills, we're supposed to see an appraisal before us. So I just want to ask Mr. Cameron, Commissioner, there are other lots along this same cliff line that are they also encroaching on the CLTC property?
To the best of my knowledge, this is the only one. Because when you look to the left side of it, if you're going that way, there is.
I can't hear you, sir.
Senator, not to the best of my knowledge that there's any encroachment. Immediately to the left of the property, then you have several residences such as Lu Shutan, the owner of Philippine Airlines. He has a house right there. And then next to it is a leased property from a Howley family. And then more to the left, you will also see Peterson. And then further down, you're going to see Mrs. Lapanovich, Dina Salas from Maleso, umasagwadan tato Croatia, the Tanonia, that no primahulo. She never really told
Yeah, but
me.
are they encroaching?
That, not to my knowledge.
Because in one of the discussions, that was the question, was if we did this for this one property owner, are we going to be coming in, doing this for the rest of the whole entire cliff line and giving them CLTC property as opposed to just requiring them to build the fences or their patios on their own property.
Correct. And right across the street is Tun Gregorio Defunto Paris.
Across the street?
No.
Inland?
Ani sumasagad, where I live, right across the street, the very last two-story house before GMH, that clearance there, that's Defunto Great Paris's property. And I was very close to him for like 8 years before he passed, and he always speaks about land and how his family does this. But there was never any discussion by Mr. Defunto Great Paris that he's encroaching on any...
No, I'm asking CLTC. It was a question before the CLTC back in 2019, whether doing this for the one is going to require the CLTC or open up a door for them to do this for all the cliff line properties on Guam. Everybody can come in and say the same thing because pretty much all those cliff lines are owned by CLTC, right? So are you going to do this for the next neighbor that comes in? Because I'm looking in your minutes, but I don't see any analysis of this property or other encroachments in this area.
To the best of my knowledge and that of the commissioners, we don't see any other encroachment to the left or to the right.
All right, and the occupancy permit is already given, so that's done, right? So pretty much you own a fence now because it's on your property.
I think because the Kellys are wanting to right a wrong, they just want to make sure that moving forward, as they live in that property, that they do pay what is necessary to be paid to the government if it is Chamorro Land Trust property and there is an encroachment. I really speak highly of their intent, only because I believe that two wrongs don't make a right, but I think we're trying to right this one.
I have no issue with any one of the owners of these properties. My question to you is, as a Chamorro Land Trust, if you do this for this one, what's to prevent every cliff line owner on Guam to come in and say that they should own the CLTC property on the cliff? They want to buy that too. And you're going to come in and tell us the same thing, that it's useless, it's not worth anything to any person in the trust. And I'm not sure that that's true. If any analysis is done, there's no appraisal value or anything before us.
I realize what you're saying, but I want to ask you a question, Senator Terlaje.
This is for us to ask you questions, I'm just asking if you discussed this during your meetings, or if you did any analysis of any other properties on the same cliff line that might be encroaching.
We, the people of Guam, can have a voice. You cannot muffle my mouth.
I'm not trying to muffle you. I'm asking you to please ask if you could just, I just want to know, because in the past, that's what they were looking at. Were there other properties that were also encroaching, and was this going to require them to do this the same for all the other properties? So I'm asking you if the commissioners considered it, because I don't see that in your minutes, in your meeting where you in 2024, 2025, talked about.
You're talking about internal policies that would move any type of decisions? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just asking if you did an analysis if there's any properties in the same exact position where they are also encroaching, so you're going to be put in the same position, even on those one cliff line, let alone other cliff lines.
I think it's not so much just the cliff line, Senator. We just heard another bill not too long ago where the mayor of Hagat was asking to do the same thing because X, Y, and Z, and there's like 20 to 30 others.
Exactly.
Affected.
That's exactly why I'm asking you, because exactly the same situation exists there. They're along a river. So they want to buy the property between their lot and the river that's owned by the CLTC. But that's only one person coming in here, yet we have a whole river to deal with. What are we going to do with all the rest of them? And I'm trying to come up with a policy that is equitable for everyone as opposed to, one by one on a case basis. That's why I'm asking you your thoughts on that, or whether there was any analysis done on any other encroachments. Pardon?
If you can do that, you can propose legislation that stops every center in this body from proposing legislation that appears to be special interests, and this is not one of those special interests, but I see where you're coming from. It's a floodgate, right? And so how do we manage this cohesively without having, we have to have parity, right? And I think you and I agree on that. But to this one particular one, to the best of my knowledge, I will say that we fully are confident that this particular request we are supporting.
All right.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Mr. Cameron.
yeah. So that was one of the questions asked by in the previous boards that in 2019, which you referred to, that was one of the parts that they discussed, but I don't see that discussion recently. It's just what are we going to do when any of the other landowners come forward in this same situation? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I think a special legislation, and I'm not a senator, but I've worked for 3 of them as a chief of staff, and I saw how it works and building policies. I was a policy writer for senators, and on housing and development, I was chief of staff for Ways and Means during the millions and million days where we had a lot of money under Governor Joseph Ada, and I looked at those things. And then, of course, I was a commissioner for the Guam Housing and Urban Development Authority, and I saw these land issues. When I was president of Chamorro Affairs, I was required as a quote-unquote, wherever there's a language that says Chamorro, all of a sudden I'm a natural member of the ancestral land, the land use. And, you know, I walked in on that, right? And I saw Senator Terlaje, I saw a lot of those things that you're talking about even then, back in the 90s and even the late 80s. But I want to, if I could, I would like to recommend that I believe proposed legislation that kind of hones this down to a science so that we're not having just sporadic. I think you're the lawmakers, you can actually recommend or just put a stop to some of this stuff that's going on. For example, you know, trying to give lands away free, or trying to do this or trying to do that. And, you know, I think the Chamorros own this land. And you put me in a position of president of Chamorro Affairs for years, then I'm put in a position of commissioner of land for the Chamorros. And that's why I specifically speak Chamorro. Sa mas didok ihinasun mami zan figo nina ginin ikruson mami hafa na kada in talabira hit guaha nuevo na tauto ni man mapega ki puesto un got pia po fan manay hun debatti but basta tatulaika zu. What I'm saying basically is this: the lawmakers are the lawmakers. You as a team need to sit down and say, okay, let's propose legislation that stops us from doing this. And let the Chamorro Land Trust do what they're mandated to do. Honest to God, I highly recommend that. Stop this different senators proposing legislation to give land. That's ridiculous. And then when we're trying to do the Guam Raceway, we're told to do this, and that, the other thing. How come the Chamorro Land Trust Commission doesn't have full authority? You voted for me. You voted for us. You support us. I know that. Senator Therese, I know your heart. You support us. But I think in supporting us, I would highly recommend that you propose legislation that stops a lot of this nonsense. I mean, I call it that because I don't know what else to call it, right? So please, do Guam a favor and put the authority gi commission. Kumunayham eno na a reglamento na hami pa ben puesto mona hafa necesidad itano imanamoro, pues put favor na para hamzo sa guahan na kanay man kalamangagi gi mantikiza, sesu sempi man sulun za, pior sempi man mazamak tatalonia, edi man mazamak tatalonia man malingu boto. Sa masesienti hafa malalago gi sistema ginin esti legislatura ni ungot piazang gin hadzi humalum za manainu puesto ni hafa tamanusina po ma arregla za po matulaika todisti itanu man Chamorro mana mas bonito matanya manai ahit tieno man magagagon mami zangin po naisu is na puesto ti para hafa na para kada dalay disti humalum zo since I've been a commissioner less than 4 months. I'm down here at the legislature once or twice a month, half a day. Where do you find the time for me to work? I'm not being paid. I'm the designated state unit director for vocational rehabilitation programs for the federal government. I have over 55 years. And that's my passion, not land, but you throw me in here and you say hallelujah, I'm going to say hallelujah to you too. So, tit for tat. You want me to do this? Then mandate yourselves by not mandating me what my job is, which is already under regulations and law.
Thank you.
Stop it already, Vice Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Cameron. Appreciate it. Senator Gumatauto, you have any questions?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Mr. Cameron, for being with us today, and appreciate your candor. So thank you for sharing. I'm generally supportive of the bill, but just two things I want to ask for clarity, and it's just for the process. And I know that the Kellys are listening, and if you can answer it, great. If you cannot, that's okay too. But first question is, what information is available regarding the then CLTC Director Haddock's comments on this matter during the CLTC's March 7th, 2019 regular meeting, which you referred to, that he would get in contact with surrounding property owners and draft cease and desist notices to get the process started to remove encroachment portions. Do you have anything to offer?
I don't have personal knowledge of that particular discussion. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, that's okay. And then secondly, is recognizing that the subject property is accessible only through private land that's owned by the Kellys, what further action has been taken by CLTC members, I not only see the staff here, in the recent years to move this draft resolution 2019-05 forward or void the decision by their predecessors, and to what extent has CLTC validated its land inventory in the area and determine whether Bill 131 should expand to include additional properties? It's a little bit of a different question that was asked by the former speaker.
I think, and thank you for that good question. I see this property on the mapping, and I know that it's landlocked. It's right at the cliff. I mean, if I stand here, center, and there's this fence, and I go like this, I'm down. Even if my friend Elon Musk comes to Guam with all his billions, he won't build any crap there. It's not worth to Elon. Elon's my friend, and I know him. He's not going to build.
Okay, so let me. So again, any indication from the staff if they've tried to move anything past it?
I have no knowledge of that particular item.
Okay, no, that's what I wanted to ask for the record. Thank you so much, Mr. Cameron. Thank you, Mr.
I hope I haven't been too graphic, but sometimes I just have to stand and show you.
Just don't stand again and do that.
In other words, it's landlocked.
I know, I get it, I got it.
I couldn't even, if I wanted to, create an easement.
Thank
the easement would be the cliff line,
Mr. Cameron.
and you're dead meat.
I got it. Thank you, Mr. Cameron.
Thank you, Senator Gumatauto. Speaker Blas, you have any questions? No questions. Thank you, Mr. Cameron, for joining us this afternoon for this public hearing on Bill number 131-38. Mr. and Mrs. Kelly, thank you for joining us online. And we'll go ahead and conclude the public hearing on Bill number 131-38 COR, and we'll now proceed to Bill number 170-38 LS, and this is an act to add a new subsection 849.18 to Chapter 8, Title 1, Guam Code Annotated, relative to designating Route 6 as the World War II Survivors Memorial Highway, authored by Speaker Frank Blas. I'll go ahead and Speaker Blas do an opening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice Speaker. Sir, Bill number 170-38 COR, an act that would basically designate Route 6 as the World War II Survivors Memorial Highway. The highway right now is known as Spruance-Halsey Drive, and it goes from the intersection of Route 1 and Adelup, up the hill, through Nimitz Hill, down through the other side by the Veterans Cemetery, and then into Route 1 in Petey. You know, for many years, you know, we want to continue to honor our survivors, and you know, in this with this bill, what we're going to provide is that that area and that roadway, which after many of our island residents were liberated from occupation, actually traversed in that area to go from either Asinan or Menengan or whatever to Agate, and then from Agate down to where we know as the Pico Cemetery. And so we felt it's only fitting that we continue in our efforts to memorialize and to honor our World War II survivors, to be able to rename this road, this highway, in honor of our survivors. And that's what this bill would be able to provide. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Speaker Blas. We have Mr. Sanagasin from GOVA to testify on this piece of legislation. Director Sanagasin.
Honorable Speaker Frank Blas, Vice Speaker Tony Ada, Senator Therese Terlaje, and Senator Gumatautom, thank you for having me here this afternoon. My name is Jose Afaji San Agustin, Director, Guam Office of Veterans Affairs. I am here in support of this bill. To Mr. Frank Blas, the Speaker, Dunkelina Sizes Masi for this initiative, and I hope that you will have all the other senators support you on this. I want to start with kind of just painting a more clear picture as to how this came about. Of course, Gigerandos, World War II, we had U.S. service members that had fought to liberate Guam. We had enemies that had fought, our friendlies. But in the middle of that, our people who had no choice endured the suffering with no say-so. So where I come in play to fully support this initiative and to support this bill is because it is way overdue that we do designate Route 6 as the Gerandos survivors, a small token of appreciation to show that we do acknowledge their sacrifice, their suffering, and that this is a small token for us to show that appreciation. I hope that the rest of the senators can get on board and support this. I'm quite confident that it's a bill that will be supported by many of our veterans and our island leaders as well, because it means well for our people, the Chamorros that have suffered during the Gerandos. That's all I have.
Thank you, Director Sanagasin. I'll open up the panel now to my colleagues. Senator Terlaje, you have any questions?
No, I fully support this. I asked to be a second co-sponsor if that's possible. Just want to clarify, this is the Nimitz Hill right now. They call, is that what it's named now? Or? Can you say that? Sorry.
Spruance Halsey Drive.
Okay. Yes, fully support this. In recognition of our World War II survivors, thank you for your testimony. And I hope that we can really make big signs to show that as well. Jesus Masi.
Thank you, Senator Terlaje. Senator Gumatauta, you have any questions?
Yeah, only just a few if I can, and I'm not sure if you can, Director, answer the questions. Recognizing the importance of Bill 170 to preserving our history during World War II, and obviously honoring the hundreds of Chamorros from that time, what assistance, if any, have been offered from either the mayors of the villages, in this case up on the hill, federal and military partners, and the private sector to support this measure if and when enacted? And maybe, I don't know if you can, or maybe even the author.
Yeah, so Senator, to answer, there's nothing that I'm aware of. I could tell you that the Asan mayor has been very proactive in trying to help promote our veterans and our people within their area. I'm sure the other mayors will more and so love to support this initiative as well. But really, it starts here with the great leadership, right? Having the thought that, hey, we need to do this for our people. And so I could speak on behalf of the Asan mayor because he's always wanting me to help him out, find a way to build monuments that will signify the World War II event, the landing and all that stuff, and to show the suffering of our people. That piece I could say because he and I communicate a lot.
Okay, and thank you for that. And because you had asked us for our support, so obviously I support the measure. So that's why I was asking about this. And if you're hearing about any, I'm hoping that the hearing will allow maybe more from our community to come out and support this particular initiative, which I think is a good thing.
Well, I support it simply because.
Oh no, we know you already said it. Okay. No, I got it. And if I can, and I don't know how close you get with the Commission, but they had $726,000 in the last budget, and their budget was to develop, implement, and advise on a coherent, culturally sound, and historically accurate set of criteria for selecting place names. To what extent are you working with the Commission involved in the discussions around Bill 170 and the broader conversation identifying appropriate place names across Guam? That's obviously with Dr. Underwood and those folks.
Senator, are you referring to the Veterans Commission?
No. So I know you work with a lot of different community groups, the ones that do the Chamorro names, the Commission that does it.
Yeah, the Fino Commission, they have a separate. This doesn't fall into.
I understand that, but my question is because of the place names, because I know that they might be looking at different areas, maybe to rename this another area. That's why I'm asking.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's a good point. Well, I'll be more than happy to start engaging with the Commission.
Yeah, and that's why I'm asking that, because I think that we're going to get ahead of ourselves with these things. No, I support it. Thank you so much. I got you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Gumatato. Senator Blas, you have any closing statements?
Well, first off,
or?
Mr. San Agustin, thank you very, very much. You also bring to light, that while the intent is to honor our World War II survivors, we have to recognize as well that our World War II survivors are those men and women that helped to liberate our island, and they had to go up those hills along those lines to be able to do this. So I think that along those lines, thank you. That's a very fitting honor, too, that we want to continue, because if it wasn't for them, many of our people wouldn't have traversed that hillside to regain their freedom. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Mr. San Agustin, and thank you, Speaker Blas. If there are no further questions or comments on Bill number 170, we'll have Bill 170-38 publicly heard. Next on the agenda, we'll now proceed to hearing testimony on Bill number 173-38 COR, and this is an act to authorize renewal of the lease of a portion of lot number 2288-1-1-1 MUNICIPALITY and the MANGILAO KOBAN to the Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 668, by amending subsection 681103 of Chapter 68, Title 21, Guam Code Annotated. On this here, we had written testimony submitted via email from Mayor Ongakta in support of this. So I'll go ahead and give the author, Senator Terlaje, opening statement and remarks that she may have. Senator, you're recognized, ma'am. And those who will be testifying, you can go ahead and step forward. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, and thank you for having this hearings. And I want to thank all of you who are here today and those who have waited for the hearing on this particular bill. So this bill is to authorize renewal of the lease of a portion of lot 2288-1-1-1 in MANGILAO and the MANGILAO KOBAN that's on this lot to the Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 668, by amending Section 681103 of Chapter 68, Title 21, Guam Code Annotated. This lease began in 2005 when, in Public Law 28-4, the governor was authorized to lease this MANGILAO KOBAN to the Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 668, for 20 years, renewable for a like term subject to renewal by the legislature, so long as a lessee shall not cease to function or exist. Obviously, from even those here today, and we know of many, many, many more, and through all the years, they have fully functioned and really thrived in this location and really assisted with our community and our veterans while in this location. So this bill, quite simply, is to do what the prior bill authorized us to do, is after 20 years to reauthorize it for another 20 years, and that's what the bill says. In the findings and intent of the bill, I have added some of the things that the Vietnam veterans have been able to accomplish in this location using this KOBAN and the surrounding property. And I'm sure that they're also here to testify in that regard. But again, this is a place that they have used, and it hasn't been for the personal benefit of any, or financial benefit of any of their members. It's really been for community purposes. They have upgraded the property, improved it, maintained the grounds. They've established a place to gather, to tell stories, to take care of each other, to conduct organization business, to remember those who were killed in Vietnam and celebrate special events with those who served, to help those in need, and to further serve the community of MANGILAO and all of Guam. They unveiled, among other things that they've done, a Vietnam Veterans Memorial consisting of 3 concrete structures surrounding a garden, one of the structures bearing a list of all the men from Guam killed in action during the Vietnam War, and a life-size replica of the 3 servicemen statue located in Washington, D.C. 2 years after the statue was put up, it was destroyed by a storm. And through fundraisers, donations, and assistance of other military veterans organizations, the wall was revived and restored, and the statue was replaced with a bronze-coated statue in 2019. Continuous improvements through 2025 to the memorial, the covered meeting facility, the parking lot, the storage spaces, and the landscaping have greatly benefited the community and the veterans. Therefore, it's the intent to extend this lease at least for another 20 years. Situsmasi, Mr. Chair, and thank you again for all of those who are here.
Thank you, Senator Terlaje. We'll go ahead and take testimony from the panel, and we'll start off with Major Joe.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. The mayor of MANGILAO asked that I read his testimony. Is that okay?
Sure, not a problem. Go ahead.
Buenas and Hafa Day, Chairperson Ada and Senators. My name is Alan Ngata, the Mayor of MANGILAO, and I'm submitting this testimony to express my support for Bill 173, which would authorize the renewal of lease for Vietnam Veterans of America, VVA, Chapter 668 in MANGILAO for another 20 years. For the past 2 decades, the VVA Chapter 668 has been a dedicated steward of the MANGILAO KOBAN property. The MANGILAO KOBAN property is also utilized by the Military Order of the Purple Heart and the Knights of Columbus, Santa Teresita Council 13373, who together contribute greatly to the social and civic life of MANGILAO. The organization has not only maintained and improved the site, but also transformed it into a place of remembrance, reflection, and community service. The Vietnam Veterans Memorial, the covered meeting area, and the landscaped grounds stand as lasting tributes to those who made the ultimate sacrifice, and as spaces where veterans and families continue to gather in fellowship. Through their continued dedication and community involvement, the members of VVA 668 have helped ensure that the site remains a place of purpose and pride for the people of Guam. It serves as a place for gatherings, learning, and remembrance, reflecting shared values of service, respect, and unity. Renewing this lease for another 20 years recognizes the organization's ongoing commitment and helps preserve a meaningful part of our island's history. It ensures that future generations will continue to have a place to reflect, connect, and honor those who have served our island and nation. For these reasons, I respectfully urge the legislature to pass Bill 173 and continue supporting the Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 668, in their mission to serve our island and honor our fallen heroes. Situsmasi for the opportunity to testify in strong support of this measure. Respectfully, Alan R.G. Ngata, Mayor, Municipality of MANGILAO. Situsmasi, Mr.
Thank you, Senator Terlaje. I'll go ahead and recognize Mr. Joe Borja, if you'd like to, from Department of Land Management. Would you like to come up there? We have another chair here. And then we'll start out the testimony with you.
Mr. Chair, could you repeat what you said, the start of the testimony with me?
You can start off with you.
Okay. The Department of Land Management stands in opposition to the bill as presented. We definitely support the intent of the bill, and let me tell you why we don't agree with the bill in its present form. If you look at the title of the bill, it says, "An Act to Authorize Renewal of the Lease of a Portion of Lot 2288-1-1." I'd like staff to be able to pass out the map of Lot 2288-1 as cited on the bill. Staff? To the chair and to the sponsor of the bill.
Is this because it's missing a -1 in the title that's contained in the body of the bill?
No, it's because Lot 2288-1-1 is only 1,000 square meters on the bill. The bill says to lease a portion of Lot 2288-1-1. So the bill authorizes the lease of a portion of 1,000 square meters, which is pretty small. Secondly, yeah, so if your intent is to lease the area where the KOBAN used to be, I wouldn't leave the word "a portion" off in there. I would lease the entire portion at 1,000 square meters. And even at that, though, there is some parking issues on that area and like that. So the enabling portion of the bill, page 2, line 16, should take away the words "a portion." Because if it's just a portion, then it's going to be less than 1,000 square meters. And maybe, and again, this is the author, maybe stop referring it to, the KOBAN. I think that's kind of lost its life in there. But we also want to call to the attention, and if the staff could also pass this out, this is an aerial overlay of the boundary, not survey quality, but used for planning purposes. There are encroachments from the KOBAN, the veterans' lot, into the neighbor's lot in the next lot. And if staff could also pass this out to the chair and to the, thank you. Now, in the original law original law authorizing the lease, which we could not find, for the record, Mr. Chair, we could not find a lease, not a draft, not an unrecorded one, and not recorded one. So I don't know if there was ever a lease put into place for this. It might have been because the original bill, the original law authorizing this, had the same discrepancy about leasing a portion of that lot rather than the entire lot. So I think that has to be corrected if you're going to go forth on it. Secondly, I don't know what the veterans are going to testify on. I'm sure it's to the intent to remain as it is, but they might want to ask for more parking. So, and that's why in its present form, land management, posted the bill. If it's going to pass as such, you're still probably going to have a problem issuing a lease based on a portion of that lot because it'll be small. But other than that, we definitely do, of course, support the giving this property, this lot to and building to the veterans organization. You might want to put a reversionary clause in there, as most of the times you do on the lease, that if it's no longer to be used by the veterans, then revert it back to whoever the legislature thinks it should be. I would recommend the mayor of MANGILAO because that whole area is the MANGILAO recreational area. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Borja, for your testimony. I'll go ahead and start off again now with Sergeant Major Moffinas. Are you ready?
Thank you, Senator. Senator Tony Ada, Senator Terlaje, Speaker Frank Blas, and Senator Matanane. Actually, I'm here in support of Bill. My name is Joe Moffinas. I'm a veteran for 36 years, retired U.S. Army, and also a new member of the VBA 668. I'm here in support of Bill 173-38. And the reason why I came here in support of this bill, because if you look around this session hall here, all of us that are here today, I guess we only got a few years to live, you know, for whatever it is. And with this new lease of 20 years, that will give the younger veterans a place to tell the story about what happened during their time in the military as well. And one of the issues here is that this is the place that all of our military, whether you're veterans from the Vietnam War or whatever, they conjugate there and they, you know, they tell the story of what happened to the kids. But with this bill here, it will at least eliminate the problem of trying to lease it maybe every 2 years or every 2 years. With 20 years of lease, that would eliminate some of this problem. And the veterans, Vietnam of America, really did a good job by maintaining that place. And as a matter of fact, I helped my buddy here, Mr. Nick Francisco, when they were having problem paving the parking lot, and that materialized. And like what Mr. Borra said, maybe in the near future we need to expand the parking lot, because a lot of the members probably will sign up for the Vietnam Veterans of America, and we need more parking. And not only that also, but there's, I guess, post office around that area, and that will eliminate some of the parking if we do have a function during the meeting or whatever. And the other thing also that I like to put out, will give us the legacy and carry out the mission of the organization with the younger generation as us old folks move on. And probably not reach the age whatever. See, I'm 82 now, so I might not reach 20 years. I'll be 102 before the time comes out. But anyway, in support of Bill 173, give the younger generation more leverage to take care of the building, take care of the area, and so forth and so on, and most of all, to conjugate with all their fellow veterans. And again, thank you for the opportunity to testify on this bill.
Thank you, Sergeant Major Moffinas. Director Sinagasing, you want to proceed?
Honorable Vice Speaker, Senators, thank you for the opportunity for me to testify this afternoon. Director of the Guam Office of Veterans Affairs, my name is Joe San Augustine. I'm here in support of this bill, and the reason behind that is the group of folks that utilize that facility are veterans that were drafted during the Vietnam War, veterans that volunteered to go to Vietnam in the defense of our nation. When they returned home, it was a bittersweet coming back home. As we continue to move forward to overcome those bittersweet times, this so-called KOBAN, or this facility that they utilize to conduct business, that they utilize to social, this place that they utilize to share with other veteran organizations so that they could do their official business as well, became a place that was suitable for any type of function if an organization is in need. And I've utilized that facility several times when I was the president of the 3rd Marine Division Guam chapter. That is a place of their pride. That's a place that showcases, models, and should be emulated and should be respected by our citizens, by our younger generation, by our military service member, to ensure that they recognize and remember the sacrifices that this particular group of veterans endured during their time in service and during their time right now as veterans, because they are still going through a lot of hardship. Not only them as veterans, but their family members, their spouse, their loved ones, kids. I've seen it when there's events, they come there, they congregate, and that's a place where they feel like home. For them to be able to rent a place or find a place or figure out where to meet once a month will be just too difficult. But through the heart of this government, this body, and the mayor of MANGILAO, enabling them to utilize that particular facility, made it a place that they could call home so that they could do whatever they got to do. They do not destroy the place. As a matter of fact, they contributed to the community. They were able to pave the area where the mailboxes are at. So it's not just for the organization to park when they have meetings, but it also is a convenience for those that come there to pick up their mail. It's also a convenience for any of them that want to park there and just do whatever, as opposed to when it was just a gravel parking lot. So my testimony this afternoon, and like my buddy here, Mr. Joe Muffness, because I was asking him earlier how old was he, and he didn't want to tell me. And I said, well, you're 82, so he's 82. 20 years is probably a perfect time to extend. There's only 300 plus some of them left. And they're diminishing. This is at least what we could do, is allow them to continue to own that place for the duration of their life. So what happens after they're gone? Well, Mr. Borja here said we'll give it back to the mayor of MANGILAO. Well, if they're 82 and 85 and I'm 62, give it to me so I could upkeep it for them. In saying that, I'm serious about it, because somebody has to keep it going. Just like all these other highways where we name them after each war era, it becomes our responsibility to upkeep it. And hopefully the next mayor of MANGILAO in 20 years is willing to take on to say, keep it there and we'll upkeep it. Since the monument and the names of those that gave up their lives is etched in that particular corner. With that, I hope that all the other senators will support. I definitely am not a senator, but I'm a veteran, and I support this.
Thank you, sir. We'll go ahead and go on for the next testimony. Mr. Francisco.
Thank you, senators. Thank you, Therese, for agreeing to take care of this, to amend, to renew the list. Thank you so much, with co-sponsor Sabrina. I was surprised to see that only 2 of the senators jump in to be co-sponsor of this, and I hope that the other senators will, it's not too late to join. We love to see your name there. This is an important document for 668 and Vietnam Veterans of America, so it's going to be forever in the file of the KOBAN for the rest of the other members coming in. But I'm here to testify, but let me thank you, Vice Speaker Tony Ada and Speaker Frank Blas and Sean Gumatauto, Senator Sean Gumatauto. Thank you so much for allowing the 668 to come here, Vietnam Veterans of America 668, to testify on this historical document that we look forward to renew for another 20 years. You know, I've been a mayor for MANGILAO a long time. And during my time, I reserved the whole area there that under the Department of Agriculture. Maybe you guys are still young, don't remember? But that corner there belongs to the Department of Agriculture, and they do their farming, adjacent to the MANGILAO Church. During my time, I asked my good friend Senator, what's her name, that lady? It's so long. She's a vice speaker. Anyway, I could remember her name, but she's the one that I asked to introduce the bill to transfer that whole lot to the MANGILAO Mayor's to the MANGILAO's office at the MANGILAO Mayor's Council, and they did, and this portion of property belonged to the MANGILAO mayor long time ago. Then when Mayor Nito Blas came in, he never built a roadside park like the intention of the bill. They start chopping the piece of land. First, they put in the KOBAN. And I don't know whether they ever amend that bill. Then the mayor put in their night market, the Citizen Center. Then the church came and exchanged a portion of that land for the church. It's a long story, but I was there. I was the mayor at that time when this thing happened. And that's why every time, especially now when I'm looking at this map that the director here is showing, that whole property there was under the Department of Agriculture, and we transfer it to MANGILAO Mayor's Office at the Municipal Council. But you know, the 20 years, I attended the National Vietnam Veteran Convention, and many times they discussed this Vietnam Veteran of America. And they said that they'll continue Vietnam Veteran of America until the last person standing. And I said to myself, I wonder who's going to be the last person standing on chapter 668. But anyway, there is a proposal that came out that the AVVA, which they say the Associate Vietnam Veteran of America, most likely will be the one to take up the KOBAN after all the members of the VVA die. So I'm not worried who's going to take care of that. I'm not worried that they're going to transfer that to the mayor, because there is an active Associate Vietnam of America, which is composed of men and women. And they don't have to be a member of the BVA, chapter 668. Anybody can join. And I'm thankful for the president of that organization, because she is very active and she's doing a lot to recruit. So, and that is Bernie Park, and she could make it here because she's still working. She's still under the clock. But she is recruiting, and there's a lot of members, and like I said, it's open to anybody. So that's why I say that the future of the KOBAN will be taken care by the AVVA after the last person standing. But you know, to furthermore, during my time that I was working for Speaker Thorpe, I asked Speaker Thorpe to name that road from Barrigada to Salampago to the Vietnam Veteran Memorial Highway. When I was working for Speaker Thorpe, I said, hey, Mr. Speaker, can you name a road and name it after the Vietnam Veteran of America? I said, Nick, which road you want? I said, that road in MANGILAO. from Barrigada to Salampago. So I'm very pleased, and all the Vietnam Veterans of America are very pleased that they named that road Vietnam Veteran of a Memorial Park, Memorial Highway. So all we know, I don't want to prolong I don't want to prolong my testimony this morning because everybody already has mentioned that there's a lot of improvement there, a lot of work been done there. And I'm very proud to be the president of the Vietnam Veterans of America because all I hear is the place looks nice, the place looks good. And even the mayor, I work very closely with the mayor. If I have any issue at the KOBAN that I need help, the mayor's always there. So it's good to have a good relationship with the mayor, and I'm very proud that with all my members here behind me, and the Vietnam Veteran of America, because as you pass that road, I put in the front of that wall the home of the Vietnam Veteran 668 and the Purple Heart. And you know, all these Purple Heart are Vietnam veterans with maybe a handful that belong to the Iraqi Afghanistan. So Mr. Chairman and Therese and Sean, Donkuluna Jesus Masi on behalf of the Vietnam Veteran of America and the Military Order Purple Heart. So again, with my good friend here, Director.
It's okay. Call him Senator.
Director Borra, that I know him way back, and I was laughing here because he said he didn't recognize me when he first sit next to me because I look younger. They said thank you for that, but again, we love to make it bigger. We love to have that area, the whole area there up to the waterworks pump. In that way, we can continue to maintain that area because we are the one maintaining it. Thank you.
Thank you. And, you know, Senator Terlaje done said to us up here that's here, she's going to make us co-sponsors of the bill. So
thank you so much.
So, sir, you can go ahead and start your testimony too.
Thank you, Vice Speaker.
Thank you.
Okay, my name is Joseph C. Nicholas. I'm a life member for the Vietnam veteran. Originally, we were up at Tijan way back when we started, and that's when we moved over to MANGILAO, because when they named that Vietnam veteran, we got a chance to talk to Nito Blas, and we requested if we could use that KOBAN for the Vietnam veteran. According to all this testimonial from land management, personally, I'm the president of Dedido Veterans Organization, and you know we have a public law that's governing our site there in Dedido. And I would like to recommend to Therese that you would rename this rather than lease. It would be permanent use for the Vietnam veteran, co-owned by the Consul of MANGILAO because it's in MANGILAO. And that anytime then the Vietnam vet disappears, you got the consul, the MANGILAO consul that can take over and maintain the site. Now, like Mr. Nick Francisco stated, that there's a lot of veterans here in the island, and then there's no reason why that we can't all get together in one area. But that is specifically named Vietnam Veteran because we started it as a Vietnam Veteran organization. And that is the reason why I recommend to permanentize it rather than doing lease every year, 20 years, what that. Just permanentize it and put a public law in and says that it is co-owned by the Mayor's Council of MANGILAO and the Vietnam Veterans Association, Chapter 668. That's my recommendation. And the map, according to the land management, if that's all belongs to the mayor, there shouldn't be any issue concerning the property. And if it's just written, submit a written wording to solidify the permanentization of that site, that's all we need to do for the senator to make to redo the bill, and that's all I'm recommending. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joe, for your testimony. Mr. Dan, you can go ahead and provide your testimony.
Yeah, to the legislature, thank you for giving me the honors to come here today. My name is Dan Kogar. I'm a board member with the Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 668. And, you know, listening to a lot of the testimony today, you know, I realize that right now we're addressing for the Vietnam veterans, but this place has turned into a VA community center for the island. Over the last 3 years, we have done a lot of partnering, and we have the Coast Guard that coordinates and has some events there. We have the Junior ROTC that has functions there, and we also partner with them and support it. We have the ROTC that comes down there. The USMC veterans within the last 3 months, they would like to partner and use that for a few of the functions. So when you look at all these other things that community area is used for, it has become the preferred veteran place on the island, and again, not just for the Vietnam veterans. So in essence, what we're doing is we're setting a foundation to get ready for the future for the other veterans also. I mean, we got Junior ROTC there. We got the ROTC. We have the folks from Anderson Air Force Base, from the Navy, from Camp Blas. So this is just the beginning on something that's going to go on as long as Guam exists. Another thing, and I've seen a lot of, we've had at least a dozen of these in the last month, where we have certain functions, it's coordinated through our president and the others, where we have the different nonprofit organizations on the island that come down there and do workshops to educate people about their burial rights and the costs and the programs available, and about filing and turning in their VA claims. So it's also become a workshop, an educational place to help the veterans. And when we have those workshops, it's not just Vietnam veterans that show up there. So taking all that into consideration, and lastly, with the benefits, we've had, I think, 6 or 7 meetings out there, special meetings, where we have these different organizations come in and educate the veterans, and this is all veterans, not just the Vietnam veterans, on the benefits and how to apply and receive those. So taking all that into consideration, please, please, please support Bill 173-38. And again, thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Dan, for your testimony this afternoon. I'm going to go ahead and open up the panel for questions or comments that my colleagues may have, and I'll start off with the sponsor of the legislation, Senator Terlaje. You're recognized, ma'am.
Mr. Chair, and again, thank you for having this hearing, and thank you so much to all of you who are here, who testify, and especially thank you for your service. As some of you testified, I very much agree that this is something to remember that service and that sacrifice for generations to come. So I hope that we can proceed in that way. I want to address, I guess, so the original bill was done in 1993, and no, I'm sorry, it was done after 1993. This map was done in 1993, where the parceling was done, it looks like, and the original law was in 2005, so after the parceling map was done. So they gave this -111 lot to VVA for its use. And it says it was the governor of Guam who was going to lease, not the MANGILAO mayor. So I just want to confirm, I guess, with land management, a couple things. Is this property government of Guam or MANGILAO mayor?
This property is actually was originally original landowner land, and that was condemned by the federal government for the Barrigada experimental farm. And then it was released to Gov Guam to the Department of Agriculture. So it is Gov Guam land.
Okay, thank you. So nothing seems to have changed since that original. The surrounding properties were given perhaps by other laws to other purposes. However, so in regards to the concerns Mr. Borja raised, I'm very happy to remove the words portion of and give the entire property towards this lease. And I think that was consistent with the original intent. Again, so the bill is written, I copied the existing law. So every word in there, including a portion of, the lot number, the size of the lot, that's from 2005, the exact same language. All I have added, the uses of the property, who gets it if they don't use it correctly. It says the governor of Guam can declare it's terminated, and then it's going to be government of Guam property again. All I've added by this bill and hope to pass by law is that we are reauthorizing it, extending it for another 20 years from 2025. So same terms, extended for until 2025. So, but I do hear your concern that the use should be permanent and consistent. I agree. The use of the word KOBAN, again, that was from the original law, so I'm not touching that. I wasn't going to touch that. They used that in their description of where they're going today, and have kind of adopted it for use. So I will leave that up to them, but that's again in the original law. The reversion to government of Guam, and I support making it permanent if that's possible. It depends on my colleagues, and I think maybe if land management could just confirm one more thing. So you pass out this map and you say that they are encroaching.
Yes, and that was one thing that was going to bring up a senator. I'm glad you mentioned that you copied and pasted this from the original law, because the original law and this bill says, I guess on page 3, in Magalahing, Guam may declare a cessation of activity, blah, 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 or is not in compliance with chapter and national governing laws or the laws of Guam. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the encroachment there doesn't comply with the laws of Guam,
okay.
At least not the Pang law. And then on
but whose property, if you can confirm, who is that, what you call encroaching, whose property is that?
Gov Guam.
That's government of Guam?
Yeah,
that's not under the jurisdiction of the MANGILAO mayor?
I believe that's the Senior Citizen Center, the community center there. But in the next line there from that section on page 3, it says, lessee shall not demolish or cause to be demolished any person or any structure located on the leasehold. So by law, these guys, the veterans, are not authorized to demolish that. But they're also required to comply with the laws of Guam, which does not allow for encroachment. So
encroachment is if they're not getting any kind of consent, right? Mr. Francisco, can you confirm, are those your buildings? Do you have this map?
What's your question again?
All right. He's saying you are encroaching, meaning you don't have any permission to build these buildings on this property. So this is your memorial, and then here are your buildings. Are these also your buildings that connect to the...
We just follow the boundary.
Yeah, right? The stage area of the MANGILAO mayor's compound
yes.
is not part of what you have... You don't attach any buildings to that, correct?
Right now, where everything is sitting, we're right on the boundary of the senior citizen and the mayor's baseball field.
Correct. and the mailboxes
Yes,
on the
yes.
other side, and the road on one side. So, yeah, I just like to confirm. I'm not sure that this is showing accurately an encroachment, and if so, if it's you're saying it's government of Guam property, not Mangilao Mayor jurisdiction, the adjacent property, or is it the senior citizens? Whose property is that one?
Which one are you talking about, Senator?
The one you're pointing
the blue line,
to.
that blue or green line on your map, that's the perimeter, that's the property.
That's correct.
Yeah. So if you look on the bottom right of that almost square thing, you'll see...
the orange square?
No, not the orange square, but those long things, they look like chicken coops. They're not chicken coops, but they look like chicken coops. But those two things on the bottom there, bottom right of that square, there's those silver-colored buildings, roof or whatever to them. They're across the green line.
Yes.
Yes.
And what is the orange square? The orange.
I don't know what the orange square is.
Okay, I think those are the senior citizen center. So that's what they're saying. They're adjacent
square?
to those things. Yeah. That's the seniors, and then they've got the Mangilao stage. So if you go and see this, none of their buildings encroach anywhere near that Mangilao stage
Maybe
or the
Mr.
seniors.
Nicholas has some information on that.
Yes.
That one they're talking about, that the encroachment is where the canyon is located at. And
The
also
what?
the canyon.
Canyon?
There is a canyon there. Now, not in this picture.
Okay.
But the building that you're talking about is where the sink is at, the kitchen site.
Which one? Is it
This
past
portion.
the boundary?
This portion is past the boundary.
Okay, I see.
He-
And
he's
there's a
talk-
sink. Yeah.
Land management is talking about the blue line boundary.
Yeah.
And what I would recommend is to expand this, since it belongs to the senior center edge, where they can probably realign the dimension.
Mr. Francisco, are you familiar with the boundaries? Those are clear to you? Have they been marked?
It was never marked.
Right now, Senator, we're fine where our boundary right now.
All right, that's what I
we
thought.
didn't need to expand this way, but we're good all the way down with the parking lot.
Okay,
Yes.
appreciate that. All right, thank you. And again, this bill, I think we are trying to act very consistent, if not more, than what they did 20 years ago. And I think you've used this property over the years. You and your predecessors who were in charge have used it very much for the community, for each other, and for its original purpose. And this, we can't do anything better than what you have done with this place. So I'm very much in support of this Government of Guam property continue to being used this way. And I thank you again for all your support in being here. Thank you. And for your hard work, because I know we've seen you guys do this yourselves a lot of the time. Sometimes you contract it out very little, maybe the building of the statue. But otherwise, you're putting in your own sweat and hard work to get this stuff done, to make it look so beautiful for all of us. So thank you again. And I know whenever that happens, whenever work is being done, we've got the whole auxiliary also helping, and I want to thank them as well for all of their hard work to support all the activities of this center. Situs Masi.
Thank you, Senator Terlaje, for also adding us as co-sponsors. Senator Gumatalto, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to the panel for being with us today. And I just wanted to address, Nick, your concern earlier about us co-sponsoring. I've been in this body for 9 months, and every land bill that I've sponsored or co-sponsored, I get yelled at or my emails are blowing up. I'm hoping that if I co-sponsor this, am I going to get in trouble from other people for supporting this project?
I don't believe you're going to be in trouble.
Okay, that's good. Then, no, I want to make sure, because I'm getting gun shy about co-sponsoring bills. I won't do it anymore because I keep getting in trouble.
This is Gov Guam property, not CLTC or any other trust.
Oh, no, I'm saying that I'm still getting in trouble, irregardless if I'm sponsoring or co-sponsoring. I just try to stay out of everyone's way. So, you know, I just had a quick question. Well, first off, I'm just going to address Dan first because I don't know if you looked at my notes, but I was going to ask everyone about, over the years, how much people have kind of given into this particular area. When Dan started reading the Coast Guard, Junior ROTC, Marine Corps veterans, Anderson Air Force Base, Navy, Camp Blas, you answered what would be my concern is the facility being used by people? And Dan, thank you for answering in advance, because it is actually an important part of why these types of facilities are around to support other community events. And for the Vietnam Veterans Group, it's a big deal to be able to support. So I just wanted to thank you, Dan, for answering that in advance. Now, because the author of the law authorizing the Vietnam Veterans of America to utilize the former KOBAN, former Senator Frank Uggan, intended to put the facility to good use, recognizing it was subject at the time to, in MANGILAO, to vandalism, graffiti. What challenges have you guys had in the time you've been in there? Have you had any problems with break-ins, destruction of property, other crimes?
We thank God that we never had graffiti or what. Maybe they respect the place. That place is always clean. You cannot see any trash. In fact, not even a cigarette butt. So I'm very thankful that we keep that very clean, and for the enjoyment of our members and everybody. And I think they respect the place. So thank God for that.
No, and that's a good point, Nick, because on that flip side, it appears that the organization and the use of the KOBAN area has been more than a, call it a way to have people respect the community even more, and is a symbol of that. Because if they're not touching it and they're avoiding that area, there's so much reverence and respect that's been given by your young people in the village of MANGILAO, and I just want to credit you for that as well.
I don't know, Senator. I hear this from the entire community and friends that they always thank me for that place being so upkept. I thank the Knights of Columbus for maintaining the grass. Because they
so you're
use
adding
the
another
building.
organization that Dan had already added.
Everybody that using that, they give a helping hand.
No, absolutely. And I think, Mr. Chair, when I guess it was Colonel started this whole thing about the younger vets to tell the stories of what has been happening, the people that served there. And I just got to tell you, sir, I think that from years to come, I think this bill might just do that. And I think if we take it the step further, I know that there might be some issues with DLM, but I think taking it the step further and giving it to you, I think those stories are going to continue to live on for a really long time.
Also, I just like to let the senators know that very, very soon you're going to see on the road with the vehicle with the Vietnam veteran license plate. So this is all in all. Like I said, I thank the senators for passing the bill to amend that when the first public law came out for the special veteran license plate, and I thank Senator San Agustin for amending that to include the Vietnam veteran license plate, and I thank Therese for amending that to make it free. So veterans are very pleased to have their free license plate. And I think for all the service they did, the sacrifice in Vietnam, to me, they all deserve free, even if you're 30%, 20%, 50%. I'm so thankful that they're going to get their license plate for free.
So as a son of a U.S. Marine veteran from Vietnam, thank you for your...
Any Vietnam veteran, Marines, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, they're going to get their, if they want, they can get their free Vietnam veteran license plate.
I just want to say thank you. And I support this legislation. And yes, Senator Terlaje, if I can jump on without getting in trouble, I think I'll be okay with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Gumatao. Speaker Blas, do you have any questions or comments?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And I just want to reiterate, Senator Terlaje, we are co-sponsors, right? Just making sure you all saw that, okay? You know, very rarely do you find bill that is presented before the legislature that basically is a no-brainer, okay? And I tell you, it's not just a no-brainer because of what it represents, but it's how it's represented and how it is taken care of. If we can somehow, you know, as I was sitting here was this thing, one of the things is, okay, how do we get the same kind of commitment and same, I guess, passion to be able to take care of your... I remember that facility before you took over. It was trashy, okay? I hate to say it, but there are other KOBANs that are throughout the island, okay, that, you know, could use the tender loving care from BVA 668, all right? Hint, hint. Auxiliary, ladies, you know, okay? But it's a no-brainer because you see the work that's being done out there. You see the work by all of you. I don't think there's a day that goes by that that place is not occupied and being used for the purposes of being able to help veterans. And it's always upkept. Okay, you know, there are times that we sit here and we allow an agency or entity to enter into a government structure or to lease someplace, and about 6 months later, man, talapon todo. Lo, and so, you know, just for that, it's a no-brainer. Okay, they don't really have any question. But you know, I think that I think one of the discussions we should have is 20 years SAST. Okay, okay. You know, maybe we can look at some way to be able to extend it because life extends past this. All right, and I don't think that the cannon and the wall is going to come down. Okay, after that. So thank you very much. First, for your service. Thank you for your continued service, not amongst yourselves, but not only amongst yourselves, but with others. Because I've seen younger, you know, younger folks than you. I don't want to get into your age, okay? I've seen, you know, younger veterans that are there that look to your wisdom and to your help to be able to do this, and it's a perfect place to be able to do this. So not only am I asking to be a co-sponsor, but I'm telling you that you've got my full support on this. Okay?
Thank you, Senator. You can't go wrong with your veteran.
Thank you.
This one, now that you mentioned there, Speaker, about the KOBAN, you know that KOBAN used to run by the police, right? I'd just like to point out another example. The Bargata veterans also is taking care of the KOBAN in Bargata, and it's well kept. Same thing as the MANGILAO KOBAN. Now, if you look at the other KOBAN, you know, something has to be done, you know, because really like what this organization are doing. Yeah.
Maybe you
and you're a member too there, Senator.
Use your wisdom to encourage the other veterans, Senator. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you, everyone, for coming by to testify. You know, if you were sitting up here when Director Borja first said he's opposed to the initial legislation, the look on your eyes, that was a Kodak moment. But it just goes to show that what we do to correct the bill and move it forward so that in the future there'll be no issues or problems, and we'll work with the sponsor of the bill and get this bill, hopefully we'll be able to get it onto the session agenda for November. And but thank you all for your testimonies here. Did you want to go do a closing?
Very quickly, I would like to thank again all of you who are here. I know we have the Barrigada Veterans Organization also using a KOBAN in Barrigada. They don't have a lease apparently, or I don't see anything in law that had to mandate that. So again, all over the island, we have kind of unique circumstances, but I just want to say this is really an example of an excellent idea someone had back then, and excellent use, excellent execution by all of you. And again, I know it's even an effort that have to come down in this rainy day and traffic jams everywhere. So I'm very grateful that you're here in support of this. This is one thing about the Vietnam Veterans VBA 668 and the Purple Heart, that they are really united in working together to get these things done. The Dedido veterans, the Barrigada veterans, Situs Masi to all of you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Chair.
Senator Terlaje. This concludes today's public hearing. The committee will continue to accept written statements on today's hearing within 7 days from today, which can be mailed to my office on the second floor of the Guam Congress Building at 163 Chalang Santo Papa in Agatna. You may also send your statements to us at Vice Speaker Tony Atta at guamlegislature.gov. Thank you for your participation. The public hearing is adjourned, and the time now is 3:42 p.m. Thank you.